DOJ law enforcement map. It's called the red dot map. And every this is over the last 30 days, and every red dot on that map is at least one unique IP address of individuals downloading, sharing, distributing child abuse and rape images under the age of 12. And there's over 111,000 of them just in the US of the last 30 days.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised because humans are evil. We're of sin. A lot of us have made the devil our God.
And I wanted to bring that because I think it brings to life so much of the evil that we're trying to face. And people will say, well, that's just over there and it's in those countries and it's all of those places. And it's not. Shawn, it's right here in our backyard. It is right here. And out of everyone, and some people will say, okay, well they're just downloading and sharing and distributing it, but they're not. 55 to 85% are also hands-on offenders, and your average offender has 13 victims in their lifetime. 13 victims.
I'm not surprised, man. That's the world we live in. And when you get to understand that anyone is capable of doing evil, you wouldn't be surprised. So to the video that we just watched earlier about, 11,000, I think, was the number that you talked about that are offenders that share underage sexual content with each other, Not surprised. But watch this. Richard Ramirez talks about how he is evil. Watch this.
You have now entered a very rare group of people in this country. You're in the ranks of Charlie Manson, Ted Bundy. You claim you didn't commit these murders, but you're right in there now as far as everybody else is concerned.
Serial killers do on a small scale what governments do on a large one. They are a product of the times, and these are bloodthirsty times. People in this day and age are brainwashed and programmed like a computer at being nothing more than puppets. This nation, this country is founded in violence. Killing is killing, whether done for duty, profit, or fun. Men murdered themselves into this democracy.
You're good at reading your script, Richard, but you're not much at answering my direct questions. A lot was made that you're a devil worshiper. Do you worship the devil? Have you ever studied Satanism?
There are different sects of Satanism.
Have you studied, just yes or no, have you studied Satanism?
Yes, I have. I can tell you a little bit about Satanism.
Well, I'm interested in hearing what you got to say.
It is undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. It is power without charity. The Satanist admits to being evil.
Do you admit to being evil, Richard?
We are all evil in some form or another. Are we not?
I'm asking you the questions, my friend.
Yes, I am evil. Not 100%, but I am evil.
That is deep. It's so deep. When you understand it, it will let you want to slap your mama. But it's true when he says that what a serial killer does on a microscopic scale, politicians do on a global scale. They murder people every day for good, for money, for whatever reason they want to justify it as, right? Don't get me wrong, there's time for self-defense. There is time for that because you're allowed to defend yourself, right? But he says society is like a computer. We have been programmed. And he's not wrong because the same politician that you vote in, they themselves is evil and they have anger. And because you have anger, they use it to control you, the person. And by doing that, they corrupt you even more. So yes, they're programming you. God says, don't trust an angry person. An angry person is a murderer. They will murder the light that is in you because they get you to be as angry as them. And then they use you for their own purposes. But you are not able to see because you yourself is angry. And you're not seeing that because you're angry and because you're happy, you judge the situation and you play God with that politician or that person. And by doing that, you get an emotion about it. And for you to judge them, you have to go unconscious and you're in your head, your imagination, judging them. And by doing that, you become just like them. It's either you hate them or you love them. They make you feel good. They make you feel bad. You're going to act on your emotions, which is very interesting to me. But he says every person is evil. And there's truth to that. There is a lot of truth to that. But we're going to see why in the next clip that we're about to pull up. So right here for this clip, Richard Ramirez is going to touch on the recipe of what caused someone to become a serial killer. Watch this.
Okay, go ahead. Next question.
Helps with you getting the formula for the serial kill.
Yes, I believe a serial killer comes about by the circumstances, and it's like a recipe. Poverty, drugs, child abuse, a few other things that I can't recall right now, but I believe that these things, contribute to a person, to a person's frustration and anger, and at some point in life, he explodes. Evil is feelings and emotions like anger, hate, lust, and greed. Whereas if I didn't give in to them, I would be crushed by them. Regretting is...
So let's touch on some of the points that he says to become a serial killer. These are the recipe that brings someone to become a serial killer. Say the circumstances that you're born with, and poverty, drugs, trauma that contribute to that, right? But it always starts in the home with the trauma first. That's what kicks this off, right? You're in the home, you're being traumatized by your mother, your father is not there to protect you from her when her frustration and anger comes out. So you judged her, and by judging her, you take on her spirit because you try to escape her by going in your imagination. And by going in your imagination, you're judging her, and now you hate her and resent her. Yes, poverty contribute because now you're in the situation and you can't control the situation, just like when your mom would be angry and frustrated because it's not the outcome that she saw for the situation that she wanted it to be. It's not the outcome she wanted it to be for the situation that happened. So she get frustrated, right? Same with you. You're in this poverty set and you can't control it. So you get angry and frustrated at the situation. He also mentioned that what causes you to become a serial killer, part of the recipe is anger, lust, frustration, and something else. I don't remember. But all of those were already inside of you when you were traumatized by the mom when you were growing up. And that's why now you're using the drugs and the alcohol to escape the situation. But you cannot escape the situation because by using the drugs and the alcohol and the frustration and all of that, you judge yourself, you get the feeling, you're going to act out on the feeling. So now you're trying to escape from it. But you're only digging yourself deeper and deeper in the situation when you use drugs and alcohol because you're trying to escape the truth. And the truth is you're supposed to sit in it, allow it to be there, and do nothing about it. He says if he didn't do anything about the anger and frustration, it would heat him up. But that's not true. He should allow it to be there and look at it and do nothing about it. But because he acted out on it, because because he has identified with the emotion and on the thought, he thinks it is him. So it's giving him instruction. The feeling is giving him instruction. So he went and just act out on the emotion. And by doing that, he release it, and it gives him a thrill. It gives him a good feeling. But by giving him a good feeling, it kind of reduce it for him. But then it's going to happen again, and he's going to have to act out on it again to get that, for the feeling to vanish away from him. So it's a cycle when all he needs to do is sit in it, let it come, and do nothing about it.
It's not my style. I cannot regret. It just isn't me.
Are there any things about you you'd want to be remembered for? Things that are positive in you? Things that you think are special?
I survived as best as I could.
Yeah, at the end there, he said, he survived as best as he could. Maybe try to fight against it, but eventually he's gonna give in to the impulse. Not all the time, but sometime, because he has to release it. It's an emotion, and it's driving you to go do things. So at some point, even though he might say he's not gonna do it, at some point he's just gonna go unconscious, and he's just gonna do it, because he's there judging and not understanding that he's in hell, and that hell is just going to force him to do it. Even though he says he's not going to do it, he's going to end up doing it. So I do believe when he says he did the best that he could to survive with the tool that he had, because he probably didn't have a great childhood growing up. He was abused, and he didn't know anything differently. So I truly believe what he's saying. And when you understand, you will just understand. In this next clip coming up now, we're going to see Richard talks about the true nature of human beings. Watch this.
I think most humans have in them the capacity to commit murder. It is not because... No, we don't, Richard. They choose not to, not because they are morally superior, as they so commonly claim, but because they are imprisoned in a web of responsibilities, commitments, beliefs, and sentiments, and that would render murder an absurd gamble or ridiculous self-destruction.
He's dropping some facts there, though. He's dropping some facts. But because they are judging him as a serial killer, they can't open up their minds to really understand what he's saying, because contrary to the first video that you saw earlier, when you see that they're like 11,000 or something like that people that share underage pornographic content to each other all around the world. They say that they have morals, but in darkness they hide and they do immoral things, right? But you say you have morals. But do you really have morals? But you're doing it in the dark. You're hiding doing it so people don't know that you're doing it. But people, at least Richard here, maybe he didn't do it in public, I don't really know his entire backstory, but I know he's a serial killer. He's a serial killer, right? Maybe he did it and hide some and did some in public for people to see. But what he's saying is correct, because he says they have these morals and they let themselves think they're morally superior. But it's only because there's laws in a country and there's something that they're holding on to, which their jobs, their family. They don't want things to be taken away from them. But if you strip away the law, what would we have? You're open to do whatever you want. Then we'll see like most people are evil and they will start doing it out in public. And they're only doing it out of fear, which is not right. That's not real morality, because morality that and grew up with is not real. It's an illusion, because morality really comes from God. When you're about to do something and you know it's wrong, you will know that it's wrong. And when you can stop identifying with all of these obligation and responsibility and the things that you have identified with, when you take all of those things away, you will see that he's telling the truth. Because when you take the law and everything away and look deeply within yourself, because we're all evil, God says, who knows the heart? Because the heart is wicked. We're all born in this world with sin, but Jesus, yet, he did die and wash your sins away. But the evil inside of you will still want you to commit the sin that you have identified with. So if you take all of those away and everything that you have identified with and look deep in yourself, you will see that every single person is capable of killing and doing crime and doing all the bad things that Richard here is put in jail for, right? But you have this idea that you have identified with. You have identified with, oh, I do this this is good. So you identify with good. You identify with your job. You identify with your family. And by identifying with it, you make yourself feel good. And you, by feeling good, you think you are good. You will even go outside and give the person on the street, the homeless person, money or food to make yourself seems like you're good. But you're not good. You're only doing it so you can feel good about yourself and to make yourself think you're good. But indoors and behind doors, you're doing immoral things. So is he wrong or right? Most people will do evil things. It's only because out of fear of the consequences that they won't do it. But secretly they do it in the darkness, where they steal from their friends, they talk bad about their friends, especially females. They come up with diabolical plans to do evil and think they're good, but they're not good. And the man may cheat with his best friend's wife or come up with a business deal and steal from him and take his money and all that crazy thing that people do. Isn't that evil? At least Richard here is being honest. And if you can understand him, I'm not saying what he did is wrong or right, but he did do some messed up things, right? But is he not speaking the truth in this situation? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.